What's going on, guys? Plastic Beach X3 back here with another One Piece commentary video, and this time we have the finals of the Seville regional over in Spain that occurred over the weekend. As of posting this video, OP12 format. It's going to be Jewelry Bonney on the left, UP Luffy on the right. Classic matchup for OP12 format, Bonney into Luffy. I'm obviously going to be supporting my fellow Bonney enjoyer throughout the commentary of this video, and it looks like it's a long one. So strap in, sit back, and relax. We're watching on 2 speed, just so everyone knows. The Bonney player is going to go first. I did see them choose second into UP previously, so it looks like the UP might have been a higher placer in Swiss. But they're just going to play the Bonney and then play the Tashigi. I think that's a very smart play. I do that all the time against UP Luffy. I think I said it in the last Bonney video, but essentially, if they don't God thread it on curve, which they don't want to, they want to God thread um, your one of your 5 drops if possible. If they don't do that, then their Mihawks are just way worse, because that thing just going to stick around on board the whole game, and Mihawk is going to do absolutely nothing to it. So here you have a decision whether to swing 6 of life or search with the Bonney. Definitely don't want to get punished by pudding, but that might not even be a thought right now. But they're going to opt to swing 6, put a little pressure on the life of the UP Luffy player. I think that's fair. I don't know why from this angle the Shankstone looks like a fish, like a hand-drawn fish. I don't know, or like a fishing lure. But they're gonna tap 5 for the God Thread. Gonna kill the Tashigi. Once again, if you don't deal with it now, the Mihawk is going to be way worse later. Plus, you get to go to 8 Dawn for next turn. Don't have to worry about them swinging into a Thunder Bagua. Like, maybe they just don't choose to swing. They're just going to play I'm to die for, or It's to die for, and then gain 2 active Dawn. Pretty crazy. Already going to 10. Choosing not to swing. And here they're just going to Hody, tap a Dawn, tap a Bonclay. Gonna go 5. And they're doing it this way so that they can search with their Bonney and still keep up that Dawn, instead of going like 6 in a Bonclay, 6 of life. Yeah, I don't know what happened there. But going to search top 5 before swinging with the Hody Jones. Opponent's hand's pretty good. They have a Sanji, double giant. It's all right, but then you have to giant this Hody swing. But maybe that's why they just chose to die for last turn, so that they could be able to giant this turn, because they knew that they had 0 counter in hand. They really needed to giant, so they chose to die for instead of establish anything. Also, they just didn't have anything. Gonna take that Uso Hachi and restack. I think I saw a Mihawk on top. I wasn't really paying attention, but if so, you just kill the Bonney. Yep, and bottom the Hody. That's why I was saying in the last video with Bonney into UP Luffy, it kind of just feels so bad to have to Hody on curve, because they just have a perfect answer in their deck to that play, and then you just lose all tempo. So, it just feels bad. Sometimes it's necessary though, especially if they establish a Resonante early. You really want to try and kill that thing early. Okay, gonna play the Captain Kid. Let's see if they. I doubt they tap it. Probably just gonna go 6-7 here. Yeah. Okay, 6-6, fair enough. And they are going to tap the kid. Play the Corazon sitting with 3 life in hand. Or 3 life, 5 cards in hand. An early kid by the Bonney player, but probably just didn't have any other top end, to be real. By the way, the finals are untimed, so we don't have to worry about time. That's probably why the video is 2 hours long. Play Sanji into Nami. But foregoing some swings here, choosing actually not to swing at all into the kid, not even to get a card out of hand or try to remove the blocker, because they just felt like it was not worth it. Because they just get a 2K, tap their other card, they get their other cards, you know, maybe they Shanks it or Dofi it, so it just doesn't feel valuable for the UP Luffy player. Try to play around that Shanks or Dofi. Gonna have the other Hody, another Hody, which is beautiful under kid. He'd love to play Hody under kid. Tapping the Dawn and the Nami. Swinging 7 into life. Putting some pressure on the opponent here. Maybe that early giant gave them a little bit of indicator that they were a little bricked up, or maybe they just realizing that I can't keep up with this board forever. So maybe it's time for Bonney to put on the aggression here. They're going to give him another 2K. Okay, just go 8. It's debating whether to go 8 of life or 8 at the Nami. I think the Nami gets let go every single time, but is it the right play? I don't know. Four cards in hand. Yeah. It's a tough call, especially if you don't have another Hody. But they are going to go at life. And try to put them at 0 here, and they will. Finds another Sanji Gear 2. I believe a severe lack of 2Ks in the Bonney's hand. I couldn't really tell they were shuffling it really fast on double speed. Kind of putting them. Threading in the pudding cards. Not illegal. Fair enough. I mean, like I said, I don't think they had any 2Ks anyway. Maybe I glanced over a couple, but I just didn't see any 2Ks in their hand regardless. So maybe they draw into some counter here. Maybe they draw into another Hody. Yeah, couple of 2Ks seems decent. And another kid, Cavendish. Bonney blocker. I'm gonna tap the Mihawk, of course. Well, could justifiably tap the blocker too. Gonna give him a 2-1. Would have definitely thought about blocking that one, just so the opponent is incentivized to invest more Don into their Sanji to be able to kill your kid. But the opponent only goes 9 anyway. I think you simply 2k this. We know they have the one. Or maybe you really want them to invest Don. Okay, yeah, so they really want them to invest Don into their leader swing here to try and remove the kid. And they think that if they go, they might be baited into going 9 here. And they'll have the 2k for the kid. Yep, so they're going to get a 2k here. Hold up 2 Don and a blocker. And I don't think they drew Hody. Gonna start with a 10 at lead. It's a fair. I think that's a fair start. Gonna get a Gum Gum Giant, and we know that they have another giant in hand. Draw 2. Looks like they have 4 1Ks and a giant here. Going another 10 with the Hody. Gonna block. Maybe trying to make them go 10 with the leader. But I don't think they ever do that. Definitely. Okay, gonna play with Bonney. It's essentially free here. Grab a 2k. Or maybe even the Urush. If you don't think you have it. Go 8. That's fair. 8 is fair. And then another 8 after this, of course. I'm going to get 3 1Ks out of the opponent's hand. I still think Bonnie's in a pretty good spot here, even if they do out the kid, which they are going to out the kid this turn. I find Sanji. Okay. Not the best target, of course, to find, but it is a discard off the giant. What I was saying is even if they do out the kid, you're still at 2 life. And that's going to kill the kid. It really needs to play around Hody here as much as possible. And try to clear board as much as possible. Oh. He's just playing right into Hody though. Gonna counter out of the Cavendish swing, had enough counter for it. He says if you got Hody, you win. So I think it's, it might just be 10-11. Or 8-30. Oh, you're gonna 10 drop. Okay. That does buy him another turn, so fair enough. You don't, doesn't have to kill him this turn. Gonna get 2 cards out of the hand though. Maybe even the giant. Because I don't know what he has in hand right now. Okay. So I think Bonney's pretty much wrapped this one up. Not sure what else the UP Luffy could do here. I mean, they do have 4 cards in hand and a giant. Gonna pass with 8 Dawn standing. I would have maybe considered not swinging with the Cavendish on that last turn. However, you do, depending on what your last card in hand, potentially lose to the 8-drop Rush Luffy. Or even the 9-drop Luffy, if you have no counter in hand with 1 card. Could go 12-13 here. I think it would be like the most basic of number. And he is going to go 12-13. And I think he's going to get it. He's going to get to 10 here. Oh, he draws into another giant, which he stacked off his leader ability. Has to play the other giant because he didn't draw into a 1K. And now 13. And he's going to take game 1. Wow. So, you know, pretty crazy game, that first game. Pretty awesome game. Yeah, very smart to be able to, pretty lucky to be able to top deck that Dofi. Putting under Kid, I just never ever see it like usually panning out for the person who puttings, unfortunately. A lot of times you think that it's like, yeah, crazy. Oh, the guys go use the restroom. A lot of times you think it'd be like crazy, and sometimes it is. But also like 5 random cards out of my deck. I play a lot of 2Ks, you know. It's never the end of the world, especially if you're still under Kid and they just spent 4 Dawn not swinging into Kid, but rather trying to manipulate your hand. So, yeah, even through all the Sanji into Mihawk, Sanji, Bonney was able to take it there. Especially because of that, I think that Tashigi had a big role to play in swinging the tempo in the Bonney's favor, and we can see that they have opened another Tashigi right into the opponent's God thread. Opponent's hand not the best, to be honest. But yeah, they're just going to play the Tashigi on 3 past the turn. Very smart. Protecting from God thread. Opponent has to God thread it, or their Mihawk just loses value. Gonna gear 2. Pretty standard stuff. Choosing not to swing. Starving the Bonney player. Interestingly enough. A respectable decision. Gonna just start just like they did last game. With the Cavendish, but this time instead of swinging 6 with their leader, they're going to tap the Bonney and search. Oh, they are going to swing 6. They just don't have the Bon Clay on the field. They don't have to tap anything. Fair enough. So they're going to swing 6. Get a 2K. Luffy only going to 7. I say only, but probably going to God Thread the Tashigi, go to 8, ensure that their leader ability procs next turn. Bonney pretty happy with that trade, all things considered. And now they're not forced to Hody on curve, which is massive. They don't have to play a 7-drop right into an incoming Mihawk, but they do anyway. All right, fair enough. I would have considered not, but hey, I'm not in the finals of a regional. Keeping the Dawn up, even though there's not a character on board. Fair. Okay, playing the Bonney, fair enough. Playing down the Bonney, obviously, to try and play around putting as much as possible the card that burned you last turn, or last game, for like +4 advantage. We saw our Bonney player playing this a little bit differently than they did last time, playing a little bit more aggressive, I feel like. I mean, obviously, it's the same exact curve as it was last time. But choosing to Hody over, like, you know, establishing a carrot or something. Okay, so no Mihawk, that's massive. But this Luffy will swing 9 here if they want to discard a card. Are they going to bounce the Bonney? Interesting. Gonna need 2 2Ks to get out of this one. And maybe if you keep up that Dawn instead of play the Bonney, could have tapped this Sanji. Not sure if that would have mattered at all, though. They are going to 9 Dawns if they had Shanks. Just going to replay that Bonney Searcher. Just find a 2K. Oh, and an Urug. Or another Bonney. Trying to find the Captain Kid that essentially won them the match last game. Some people cut that card. Crazy. Burying a Shanks and a Hody on this one. Unfortunate. But yeah, just establishing some searchers here. Always good. Because the opponent feels like they just have to swing into them. Deciding whether to take that Urog or that 2K counter, I think. Oh no, they have a 5-drop Bonney. Fair enough. Definitely take that. Get to draw some more cards, find that kid, find the 10-drop Dofi. Swing 8. Get a Gear 2 probably, or Gum Gum. Getting rid of the White Snake, not the matchup for the White Snake, of course. You want that for, as we saw last in top 4, it being a very, very strong card into the aggressive matchups like Lim. And passing the turn there. I think I see a Sanji there in the top 5. Oh, they have Doflamingo in hand. I thought that was a Corazon on the far left of their hand. Could be a Nami. Oh no, Corazon right there though. And they're going to keep it on top so that they can play it next turn. That's going to cure a lot of advantage for the UP Luffy player if they can get rid of this Bagua, draw 2. It's going to be very strong. Draw into some more events. Actually, what did they stack? I can't remember. But whatever they're drawing off of that. Choosing to play it first before swinging. I think that's fair. But I mean, you do know what you're drawing. So it's not like the draws are going to change any of your swings or anything. But maybe you get the opponent to swing into or tap the Doflamingo or the Resonante, but also could just be wanting to pitch that Bond Clay that he drew off of the Resonante instead of anything else in his hand at the current moment. So he wanted to draw first. Gonna go 9. Use the ability. Give Arrested Dawn to itself. So gonna be 10 into the Hody Jones. Pretty easy save, I feel like. Do they clear the Bonney? And do you save it? That might be pushing it a little. Okay, fair enough. Getting rid of another Bonney, so it's not like you're getting rid of something insane for it, like a 2K. Finds the Captain Kid, I believe. So they have Hody and a blocker to pair with Kid. If that is Kid, I'd be super. I would take it, probably. But I can't tell if it's Kid or not. Gonna go 6 at life with the Bonney. Get a 2K, 8 at life. Just keep whittling down their hand. Obviously using Doflamingo's ability there to gain Arrested Dawn on the attack, and then Thunder Bagua. I don't know. I feel like if that is Kid, I'm definitely grabbing that card and maybe even playing it this turn, just swinging A with the Hody. But just gonna play the beige, draw a card, trash a card. Play another beige, draw one, trash one. I think that's a Captain Kid. Oh, he discarded it, so he just must not be valuing the Kid as much as I do in this matchup. Even though I feel like it did wonders for him last game. Taking the more aggressive route here. Gonna try and save his Hody as much as possible. As much as he can, and then Hody them next turn. I think is the vision. One of these blockers gonna get bounced by that Luffy most likely. Very simplified game state here. I think both decks generally want to be in that spot. I think Bonney more so than the other. Gives up a 1K. Rosinante. Yeah, not looking great for the Bonney all of a sudden. I think he just top decked the 10 drop though. He's going to commit to the Hody. So probably he's dead next turn unless he kills him here. Maybe not though. It does have a lot of counter in hand. And of course the Bonney leader ability. So he's going to swing 7 to start, get a 2K. 3 cards down in the opponent's hand. A 6. 2K, 8 at life. That's going to get a Gum Gum Giant, and Luffy's going to go back up to 4 cards in hand. I want to say that UP Luffy has probably wrapped this one up from here. Okay, Red Rock is fair. I would probably grab Red Rock too, if you're afraid of not killing them and then like getting kidded. But also like in this spot, like even if they do kid you, are you really that down bad? Maybe before the Mihawk came down, it was a lot, you felt a lot safer to be able to play the kid. Saving the Hody here. Even though it's probably dead no matter what. Yeah, okay. Yeah, you're going to wrap it up there. There was just no way to come back from that. Pretty obviously. Alright, so let's get into game 3. No bathroom breaks needed. Alright, pretty exciting. Going into game 3 in the finals. 1 game to decide them all. And Bonnie's going to choose to go second. Going to play that Koshiro. Pass the turn. First time Bonney gets to go second. So now we get to finally see their preferred curve. Just slamming a Zoro, passing it up. Getting that Ooh Rouge, pass the turn. Pretty standard stuff from both sides, I would say. Urog notably not a slash type, he is a strike character. So if God Thread does come down on the Uroj, it feels pretty good being able to double ramp and remove a body for the UP Luffy player on curve. Gonna swing forward, tap the leader. They just want to get off that ramp. No God Thread though, just gonna have gear 2. Pretty nice for Bonney. And passing just with a double ramp, pass the turn. Okay. No God Thread is good. Take their 5 swing here into that 4. Gonna get a Thunder Bagua just so they can ensure. Whoa. Oh no, they're not at 2 or less life. So they really just actually want to save that Zoro there. I mean, yeah, are you going to protect a 6 now? Yeah, probably will with the gear 2. Oh no, gear 2 can only boost leader, so yeah, actually, yeah, weird that they protected it with Thunder Bagua. Gonna swing with the Koshiro so that they can have 8 cards tapped for the Bonney. Gonna draw 2, trash 1. Gonna restand a Dawn. Now they're setting up for, they had their Captain Kidd early. They're gonna be setting up for that most likely. Going 8 into the Uroj. Then Godthread. Nope, Nami. Fair enough. Koshiro obviously not as big as the rest of Shigi. Mihawk can actually do stuff with Koshiro on the field. Gonna go 6. Wow. Okay, might as well, right? The White Snake. Just draw a card, go to 7, pretty much everything but ensure that they're not going to swing again this turn. I think UP Luffy is kind of chilling on this going first curve. Okay, Cavendish and Tashigi pass the turn. Double protection with the Koshiro and the Tashigi from Mihawk and from Godthread. And UP Luffy is using their leader ability. Looks like they're eyeballing the Sanji. Throwing back the 8-drop Luffy. Not too valuable here because they established 2 forms of protection on bodies rather than just the one. Okay, gonna play Doflamingo into Resonante. And no ditch, okay. Fair enough. I wonder if using that White Snake last turn was a little hasty, maybe rather ditch it off the Corazon, but I mean, just getting a free... I mean, we knew he was going to swing 6 because he huddled 2 Dons, so, you know, getting 2 birds, 1 stone, getting 2 attacks with 1 card, drawing a card, replacing itself. I think it's value regardless. Mihawk comes down. Can't be red rocked because of that Tashigi. Seems pretty good. Board dude looking a little full though, so you want to try and swing out here. I feel like swing pretty big. Maybe even kill that Nami. That way you can like next turn block with the Koshiro and have enough room to start playing the cards that you actually want to play, like Kid, 10 drop. So starting at 8, couldn't tell if he was going into the Nami or the leader. But going to, so it must have been leader. White Snake, go to 7 for the turn. Gonna go 8 to 7. We know they searched a Sanji, an alt-art Sanji. So we know that they had at least 1 2K. But we're gonna go 8 again, fetch another 2K. I would even consider going into this Nami here. Just because it's not White Snaked. But they're gonna take the 8. Fair enough. I mean, Bonney's still at 5 life, which is crazy. Exactly where you want to be, in my opinion, if you're the Bonney player. Now, do be cautious of pudding, though. As soon as you start taking those lives, always think of pudding. So like I said, you're gonna block with the Koshiro, get your value out of it, just so you can clear up some space. And just a 6. Very tempted to block with only 4 cards in hand. But you're running into like a 9-drop Luffy would suck if you do block. So he just decides to give him the 1K. I think he's gonna just another. I would have blocked, to be fair, but I mean, maybe he anticipated this Luffy coming down. I wonder if he's gonna bounce the Tashigi. No bounce. Block 1K, fair enough. So not using the block until later really worked out for him. However, still only 2 cards in hand. Getting starved. Really want a 10 drop. But we know he has an 8 drop in hand. Okay, top deck to 10 drop, pretty gross. Pretty gross. Gonna keep the blocker tapped. Fair enough. Gonna go 6. I'm assuming he's going into life. I'd be half tempted to go into the Resonante, but probably doesn't truly matter. He's gonna counter out of it regardless. White Snake would be crazy, but he would have done it last swing. Hell's Judgment. Okay, crazy. Hitting the Mihawk and the Bonney. Can't swing with that Mihawk. We can still go 6. Gonna ramp with the Dofi. Give up that 1K. Yeah, you're just helping his opponent out, telling him to restand his Resonante, but he just hasn't started his turn yet. Can't really tell what's in the top 5, but he takes a Nami. He's gonna keep it on top. I saw a Mihawk in there. Mihawk's not really doing much, I believe. All right, and now UP Luffy in a kind of a sticky situation here. They don't want to really invest too much down into board if they don't have to, but they don't have to because the Bonney player only has that 1 card in hand. But that Mihawk staying active is going to pose a little bit of an issue. Gonna go 9 into the Cavendish. 8 into the Cavendish. That's fair. Okay, 9. And yeah, you just let it go. I think the last card in hand is an 8-drop kid, so. And then gonna Nami. Filter and replace itself. Not looking great for the Bonney player all of a sudden. Don't know what that was all about. Camera just went crazy. Yeah, I don't know what the last card in hand is, but it's an interesting turn. Yeah. What do you do as the Bonney player? I almost want to say that you want to just play the kid and then not commit any other things tapped, not tap anything else. Hold up a Dawn here, just swing 6 with leader. Oh, that's what he's going to do. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, that's probably what I would have ended up doing too. That's the only thing I could think of that like made sense. Oh, happy. Decent. Okay, taking Usohachi. It's kind of scary. Because they can tap the Bonney. We are at 5 life. They can't kill us. Now maybe they can though. If they have like no, they can't. They can't. Their only rush cards are more than 7. So they can't Usohachi in a rush. Oh no, we have that Mihawk blocker anyway. Yeah, they can't kill us. Actually gonna bounce it to Shigi. Interesting. I wonder if they have that red rock that we saw earlier. And they plan on using it on the Dofi. Yep. Is that 6? 4, 6. Yep. Dang, telegraphing red rock pretty hard there. Just tapping 6 and then untapping them. Yeah, okay. Gonna hit the kid. Fair enough. Gonna block there. Okay. Yeah, it has enough counter to protect it anyway. So now that they remove the kid, they're gonna counter out of a swing here. Swing 6 again with the Nami, getting a little aggressive here. Could have blocked 1K. No, they only don't have any 1Ks anyway. It'd be hilarious if they found another kid off that life card. So deciding to tap his blocker here. Going 8 into the Resonante. Gets it. Fair enough. So you're going to pivot into board here. Now it's a matter of, am I going to swing this 10 into the Luffy? I can't tell how many cards. 2 cards maybe in hand over there. On the UP Luffy side of things. They also just have Hody and a bunch of... Oh, they have Mihawk. Okay. Fair enough. That's pretty good. Now we have 3 Dawn to work with. Might be going 8 into a Nami. 10 into a Nami. Is what I would consider. Now that you got rid of that... Yeah, getting rid of that Resonante is going to be massive for next turn. Because we have a Hody in our hand. So if we can remove these blockers... Maybe you don't. Yeah, okay, fair. Yeah, maybe you don't remove the blockers. Or at least try to get rid of this Luffy first and remove 1 blocker. Wow, you got rid of the Luffy. I was not expecting that. I thought for sure he would giant that or something. I am a little scared of not getting rid of both blockers, just simply because, like, now you have to use one of your Hody taps on a blocker instead of a Dawn, and maybe even 2 blockers with this Nami. Maybe he's just planning on living 2 more turns. Okay. Don't forget leaving. Okay. Definitely tap a Nami. Okay, fair. I didn't even think about it. You could just tap the Nami instead of clearing it. But going 12 into the Mihawk, probably going to end up getting that. Actually, they do have a ton of 2Ks in hand. So maybe you do counter and just like tap the... what he's thinking of then, I think what he's thinking is you're going to tap the Luffy leader, counter out. Okay. I think that's what he was thinking of. Tap the Luffy leader, counter out. And that way they don't swing at it again. But going to end up tapping the blocker so that Hody gets super value next turn. Just going to play the Nami. So will not be able to, probably not going to swing into the Mihawk again. That was huge. Yeah, countering that was pretty gross. Being able to counter that. I think the UP Luffy player was pretty shocked by that. Still playing around Hody though. Just gonna do a Dawn in the blocker, fair enough. Alright, now here's the question. Do you swing into board? I might just go 6 of life with leader. See how I feel then. But gonna go 7 into life. Saying the opponent is low on 2Ks. Wow, tapping the blocker first. Thing is, I think if you just like swing 6 at life, get a counter out of hand, and then like, oh, I think he's baiting them to go into life and not board here. I think maybe we have to pivot into board now. Maybe not though. Yeah, I mean, I think he's just gonna go for it. I think he has it too. Maybe I was wrong. You just go for life here. Counting how many 2Ks. In fact, sorting them. It's 4 2Ks. He must know the list pretty well. 11 to life, and he takes it. Wow. Hell yeah. Well, that's awesome. Bonney wins the Spanish regionals. That's awesome. Congratulations to that player. What a very well played last game. Did stuff that obviously, as I'm talking, I wouldn't have done those things, and that's why I'm not a regional winner. Um, so just big brain all the way, big Bonney. But for real, congrats to that guy, and congrats to the second place as well. Nothing to scoff at or anything like that. Very high level gameplay there from the Bonney player and the UP player. So, yep, that's going to cap it off for the Seville regionals. Um, I'm going to start doing some OP13 stuff, I think, coming up soon, and then maybe some more commentary. I'm not sure. Just depends how I'm feeling on the day. But regardless, GG to those guys. Make sure to subscribe to Plastic Beach X3 for more One Piece videos, and peace out.